Jadon Sancho has arrived in England to play for England. Welcome to Talk Football. I'm your host with the most, Snashy, and I am joined as ever by my co-host this evening, Shab. Starting with you, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. All good. How about you?
Yeah, I am well, thank you very much. And Nabi, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, doing well, doing well.
Good, good. So before we quickly get into the pod, obviously, I'm remembering to do this now. I'm going to put all the socials in the description, so make sure you follow, you like, subscribe, and you interact. We do not bite. And also, one thing I wanted to mention to the guys, and to the listeners as well, actually, or to be fair, it's more for the listeners. 64% of our listeners are from North America. But correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't had any interaction or anything from anyone in North America. Have you guys?
Thing. So
No,
yeah.
we want to hear from you.
Yeah, exactly. So, drop a like, drop a comment. If you're listening on Apple Music, Apple Podcast, sorry, whichever platform you're listening to, rate us. Drop a like, drop a comment. It may not mean anything to you. It's something that will take you 2 minutes, but for us, helps us reach more audiences, helps us spread the word. So please, 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 if you're listening to this, just take 2 seconds of your time, just to hit the button, drop a message, or rate us on whichever platform you're listening to. Will be greatly appreciated. Um, so yeah, that that being said, let us get into today's pod. Today we are going to be, because I do realize it's a bit long overdue, going to be giving a review of the transfers for obviously each of our team, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Manchester United. Sort of go into a little bit more detail as to what we're expecting in terms of any formation change, perhaps that could come. More likely, I think, for Arsenal and Manchester United, to be honest, because I think Liverpool, they have their set formation. I don't really sort of see them moving from that. But with that, perfectly segues in, starting with Liverpool. Shabs, are you happy with your current? Obviously, the whole window. Taken into granted, but in terms of individuals, I take it you are probably more happy with Thiago than anything else.
Yeah, I think Thiago is the star signing, isn't he? He's the one that he's the luxury player that we were able to get, the star man, one of the best midfielders in the world,
What
at
I'll
a
do
very,
actually,
very cheap price.
just to quickly go to cover, I'll do it for each of our teams. So for Liverpool players in, we've got obviously Shabs was just speaking about Thiago Alcantara from Bayern Munich. You've also got Konstantinos Chimikas from Olympiacos, and they got in Diogo Jota from Wolves. And players out, we've got Rian Brewster, sold him to Sheffield United, Dejan Lovren, Zenit St. Petersburg. Adam Lallana went to Brighton. You've got Laureus Karius, who was loaned out to Union Berlin, and Nathaniel Klein was still contracted to Liverpool, though he'd been getting loaned out, and I think he's a free agent
He is a free
this
agent now.
current
Yeah.
window, training with Crystal Palace. But anyway, I'm sorry to cut you off. I'll let you go on.
And then Marco Grujic was also recently gone out on loan to Porto, without an option to buy. So it looks like he'll come back in. I'm guessing we're hoping he'll do really well in Porto, Champions League side as well, and maybe get a sell on price next year, or maybe even keep him based on how he does.
So
But yeah,
does that mean that they're not in for Lingard now?
who?
Porto.
Who's that?
The up and coming
Um,
star, the up
uh,
and
the,
coming star, Lingard.
the up and coming. He's a lot of potential, isn't he?
Yeah.
England's
I,
future.
I don't know. I don't know if they are in for him, but they've got Michael Grujic now, definitely. So
He seems a decent player. To be fair, I saw him against the Arsenal
yeah, he
in
is
the cup.
good.
He
Yeah.
seems he can get up for a header as well, can he?
Yeah, he does very well. He's just in a position where we've also got Thiago just come in kind of to that position. We got Curtis Jones coming up the ranks. He's only
He looks really
18.
good as well.
We got Fabinho, Henderson, Genie, who plays all around that kind of area. I guess it's just the midfield's a bit too packed, and at his age, I think he's about 24, 25. He probably is better off just getting some game time, and it's a good move for him actually, because obviously, like I said, Porto's in the Champions League, so it gives him a good chance there and good run there. I can't remember who Porto got in the group stages though. I'm sure I don't know if they got one of the English sides, but
I
yeah.
can't remember, to be honest.
In terms of incomings, great window actually. Before we considered the 7-2, which made everyone panic about a goalkeeper, centre back situation, all that kind of stuff. We kind of plugged all the holes we had. We've been crying out 2-3 years for a left back cover for when Robertson is either injured or needs some rest. We've always used Milner over there or had to shift things up. So getting Shimikas in, who's a very similar type of player. He's played against Arsenal, and I think he was very good going forward against
Yeah,
Arsenal.
did quite well. Did quite well.
Yeah, so he looks quite good. He's 24, I think. We finally got some real backup for the front three. Origi has obviously done well in moments and had those big goals, but overall he's not a good enough player to be
To be fair,
backup to those
he's
front three.
done well in moments that count. I think
Yeah,
that's probably
exactly.
what will write him into Liverpool folklore. But I do get what you mean in saying he's not off the standard week in, week out
Yeah,
kind of thing.
the levels I feel like is just drops off far too much. He's obviously given us those big moments, but overall the levels drop off too much having him in the side. So to have Diogo Jota coming up, perfect Klopp type of player, high pressing type of game coming from Wolves. Young player as well, 23. So in a couple of years he'll hopefully settle in and be firing completely like the others have, and Klopp can develop him to the right level. And then we've obviously brought in the big man, Thiago, who's
I'd
who's a
say the big
superstar, isn't he?
man
Really,
stature
little
is
man,
tiny.
but in terms of
Yeah,
ability stature, um,
yeah, I get you.
yeah, unreal. One of the best central midfielders in world football, I'd say. And we've obviously got him from Bayern. And how often can you say? Obviously, he had all his contract situation. He's decided to make the move. He didn't sign the new contract, but how often could you say Liverpool have bought a star man, ready-made world-class player from a Champions League or European rival of the stature of Bayern Munich? You can't think of anything in recent times. So that's a massive statement, I think, from Liverpool. It just shows where we are as a club and how attractive we are as a club at the moment. And
We
great deals as well.
Yeah, to be fair, when you look at the numbers, were you, I guess for Brewster, he needed to get out to get the game time, and I do kind of feel that if he was to play, say your nine, he would have to sacrifice a lot of goals to be able to supply Salah and Mane. Did you think selling Brewster was the right decision for Liverpool, or would you have liked to see him stay?
Stay as long as he got some game time, because he's more of an out and out finisher compared to Firmino, who's
Yeah.
obviously plays a style that allows Mane and Salah to get all the goals. Whereas Brewster obviously is purely an out and out striker. And if that means that would ruin Mane's and Salah's game, then maybe Klopp prefers to not have him there. He actually, at his age right now, he needs game time.
Yeah, he
So if
does.
he wasn't going to get that at Liverpool, it's good that he's gone to Sheffield United. Great money for us as well, 23 million for a player who hasn't actually played in the Premier League yet.
Hmm.
And I'm hoping he gets good starts there. Chris Wilder's a very good manager, and he'll get the goals for them. And they desperately need goals right now. So to have an out-and-out striker come in, it's perfect for him, perfect for his development. And if it really does hit the highs and gets all his goals and stuff, similar to like things like Calvert-Lewin and plays like that, then we have that buyback option of about 37 million, I believe, within as long as we do it within the next 3 years. So we got that little safety there if he does hit those 20, 30 goals mark. So yeah, I'm fine with it. I would have preferred to keep him, and he seems a very good youngster, and maybe even gone out on loan. But if Sheffield United were committed to a signing, and we got good money out of him, so
Yeah, no,
I'm fine with that.
that's fair enough, to be honest. Um, and in terms of, I don't know, this is probably a tricky one. Your goalkeeping situation, because obviously I've
Mm.
seen that you linked with Jack Butland of Stoke City, and those rumors sort of keep circling in and around Liverpool. But I
Very
just
good
want,
keeper.
sorry.
Very good. Just going to say, very good keeper is Butland. I've been a fan of him for a while. He's had a hard time at Stoke. but I do
Yeah.
think he can do a job in the Premier League.
Yeah, and I guess as well the beautiful thing is it would be one where he would be coming in as a number two rather than sort of the guy you're expecting to be there every single week. But my question I was going to ask was, would you? I know it's probably sort of picking the lesser of two evils, but would you have rather sent Adrian out on loan and kept Karius as a second, or the way that Liverpool did it?
That is a very, very tough question. It is like the lesser of two evils, because if Karius stays and Adrian went out on loan or got sold, and Karius made a mistake, then you're going crazy and having to go at Klopp for what's he doing? He's
Yeah,
bringing Loris Karius back
back
in.
exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's a tough one on that side. You're always going to look at it. Oh, what if we kept him, or why don't we just let Kelleher play, who's the other young keeper that we've got in our ranks? But it is what it is. He looks like he's putting his back in towards Adrian. I've heard rumors, obviously big rumors on Jack Butland coming in
Would
over
you
the last
want
few
Jack
days.
Butland?
I would have wanted Jack Butland, what was it, 5 years ago now, maybe, when he was relegated with Stoke. I thought he was a very good player when he dropped down. But I've not seen too much of him since he has been in Championship. And it just seems strange how no one's got him. Because obviously at that point that Stoke got relegated, he was in the England side.
Yeah,
And for whatever reason, no club actually went after him. And I don't know if it's that they didn't go after him or if he was overpriced at that point or whatever happened. But from what I'm hearing, a lot of stuff on Twitter, people are saying, and you get the compilations come through of YouTube. He makes the similar types of errors to Adrian, like little issues. So I don't know if his confidence has dropped a lot over the last few years in Stoke in the Championship, but right now I think people are desperate for anyone that's not Adrian. But it also seems like there's more news coming out that Klopp's going to back Adrian and there won't be any more signings. I'm sure I saw James Pearce of the Athletic,
yeah.
who's like the LFC correspondent. He mentioned that it looks like Liverpool won't be signing a backup keeper or another keeper. But then I also heard Stoke want 5 million for Butland and Liverpool might be after him, based on what you hear from like the Liverpool Echo and stuff.
That's not a lot, to be fair. I know £5 million
It's
is still
not,
a lot of
no.
money, but when you look at it in terms of football clubs, that's essentially like a risk-free transfer, really.
It
No,
is,
yeah. In
yeah.
terms of the
But
finance aspect of it, because he could lose you goals in Champions League finals, which I guess you'd say that's a lot of risk. But in terms of the actual value of the transfer, if it goes badly, you've not lost out on a lot of money. You could probably still shift him for 1 million, 2 million.
yeah,
Where would that
probably could, but
put Adrian then? Would he be third, or would they be looking for him to
oh,
get a
I
move
think
out?
he'll be done. Can't imagine him sticking around to be third keeper. So he either gets backed by Klopp and plays, or if Jack Butland comes in, then he either like goes the other way or goes somewhere else. Or I don't think he would imagine sticking around as a third keeper when someone's coming in to replace you as the backup. So you're not even being replaced as the main goalkeeper; you're being replaced as the backup
Backup
keeper.
keeper, yeah.
So the only reason he would stick around to be third keeper is because he has nowhere else to go at this point. Otherwise, he's gone as soon as there's an opportunity to go, in my opinion. But I feel like from what's coming out, like I've heard a lot of Jack Butland, but I feel like from what's coming out, he's going to back Adrian. So let's just hope he has a really good game against Everton, because for goalkeepers, it's always about confidence, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it
Once
is.
once it's gone, sometimes it's gone
Similar to
completely.
strikers, it's
Yeah, similar to strikers.
confidence
Yeah.
and yeah, because that's the thing. You can give a striker an open goal. If he's low on confidence, he's gonna miss. He
What
would.
And
date
the
is
keepers
that?
obviously is such a precious situation because
Yeah,
your mistake always leads to a
to
goal
a
near
goal.
enough.
Yeah, no, yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Is that what date is that game? The derby.
This Saturday, the next Saturday coming, is it 17th or something like that?
So that'd be a day after the the domestic window closes.
Yeah, the domestic window closes on the Friday. Yeah, so it'll be the
So
day
they have
after.
to make. They can't wait until that game. They have to make their mind up beforehand.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
would have to make their mind up
yeah.
before then. Yeah,
Saturday's the 17th.
yeah. So they would have to make their mind up before then. I think he's just going to back Adrian and go for it.
Oh, but do
So
you worry
yeah,
about?
best of luck.
Do you worry about centre back cover?
Um, I would have liked a fourth centre back, but then the way Fabinho played against Chelsea, even though they obviously like the context of and the caveat that they didn't really get that ambitious and they sat back a lot, but he did do very well against Werner, and he has previously been a centre back. So in terms of centre backs, I don't worry too much. If we can keep Matip fit, I believe he'll be the main partner for Van Dijk, and that's perfectly fine with I think most Liverpool fans or near enough every Liverpool fan. He's such an underrated player. What Matip can do, we've got him as a free from Schalke a long time ago, so he was a free signing, and he's done so good alongside Van Dijk, and
Yeah,
yeah, and then Gomez will sit back as well, become third.
I have to agree. I think Matip is probably, or not probably, in my eyes, he is Van Dijk's best partner. When the
He
two
is
play
at the moment,
together,
yeah.
yeah, when the two play together, yeah, they form quite a really strong partnership.
Didn't you
Really strong.
call Joe
So
Gomez England's best centre back though?
probably he has the ability to be England's best centre back. I don't think on form right now he is, but then you could probably argue for him just how bad England centre backs have been,
Yeah,
couldn't
I
you?
was gonna
Because the other ones are
mention.
like Harry Maguire,
I was gonna
who's
mention
even
on
worse.
form. I would say he's better than England's pairing or Maguire who, who was playing. So he's definitely better than the fridge. But whether he's England's best one, yeah,
You could argue Tyrone Mings or like Connor Cody, based on like I think Connor Cody in a back three is very good.
Mhm.
Maybe not in a back two because he doesn't play in a back four, whatever. But he doesn't play in that kind of system. But if he plays in the back three / back five, then Connor Cody's very good. Tyrone Mings, I really like the look of him.
Tyrone Mings is really good. But the
Um,
issue with him, like I would have taken him at Arsenal, but it's one of those like where you're gonna be charged 60,
going to be charged a
70
lot of
million.
money, yeah.
Yeah,
But with Gomez, like he is very good. Like he's had some rough patches of form, but there was that year, I think it was not last season, but the season before, where early on in the season he did so well alongside Van Dijk, and we went like people started talking about how we might be able to keep as many clean sheets as Chelsea did in that year that they only let in 15 goals and stuff, and that was alongside Gomez, I'm sure. So he had his moments where he's looked really good, but
yeah,
right now he's going through a really rough patch.
yeah. Because I remember that was his breakthrough season, wasn't it? And yeah, he was
Yeah, he
playing
looked very
really
good
well. Yeah,
alongside Van Dijk. Yeah.
yeah. To be fair, yeah, I do agree with you. There is just a form of a matter of form at the moment, I think. But once he sort of gets out of it and starts
Yeah,
playing
he's
well
only
again.
23 as well, I'm sure. 22, 23.
Yeah, and
So we're
this is
not
the
talking
thing.
about a 28-year-old
For
who's
me,
like past his
one thing I
best.
always say, like with centre backs, especially that position, how many centre backs around the world? The only one that I can think that was playing in a big team regularly was Varane. But apart from that, generally centre backs they tend to mature quite late in terms of getting to their prime. Not like midfielders or strikers, where you could be banging it in like at Haaland's age at 19, 20. Whereas
Because
centre
things
back,
like pace matters less with centre backs and stuff. So you
yeah,
can age and learn, build that experience, your positional understanding, all that kind of stuff.
yeah,
So the more older you get, the more better you get at these kind of things.
yeah.
And you got like Varane, you have De Ligt, the Dutch one, Netherlands
Oh yeah,
one, who
it's
obviously came through. So there's not
Ajax.
many that come through at that age. Like you
Yeah,
talk about Koulibaly, but by the time he became such a
it
big
was like
name,
25,
he was like
26.
26. Yeah,
Yeah,
Upamecano's another one that's 21 and
yeah.
coming in young, but
Because
and
even
he's
Van
someone I would
Dijk as
like
well.
next year
When
as
you guys
well.
signed him, was it 25, 26?
25, 26 as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
we signed him at a later age. Um, but yeah, talking of transfers, like someone I would want is Upamecano, who next summer has a release clause of 36 million quid.
The issue I would
And there are
see,
rumors we're linked with him.
the only issue I would see with that, with Upamecano, is he plays the left side of defense, centre back. That's where Van Dijk plays, isn't it?
But we do need someone to replace Van Dijk at some point.
But that's the thing.
He's 21, Van Dijk's
Are you gonna
29.
convince someone as good as him to say, "Oh, come and sit on the bench"? You could maybe get 20, 30 appearances as a sub, starting some games, but you're not gonna start all games. Whereas currently, the team he's starting every game, and there'll be other teams that will probably offer him to start.
There'll be a queue.
Yeah, because that's the thing, especially with Upamecano, I genuinely think teams are going to be lining up trying to because
They
even
will at the price, yeah.
yeah, even Bayern as well. I generally think Bayern he could potentially go to Bayern because they look like they're building a really young, exciting team. And especially with all the sort of forwards, wingers, and midfielders that they're getting. And then if you start replacing the likes of Boateng at the back because he's left side, is he right side? I can't
He's
remember.
right side, I'm
Right side,
sure.
but yeah, you could
I don't
have
know actually.
Upamecano
But
on the left side of centre back for Bayern. But yeah,
What
I just think if you walk in as oh yeah, you're not going to be starting every single week as your opening pitch, he won't even listen.
what
how long
nationality
has
is
Van Dijk got left? That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing where you would. That's where I guess you would now have to convince Upamecano that look, Van Dijk is X years old. You will be starting the majority of the games. And I guess it's for him to see whether he believes it or not.
what nationality is Upamecano?
French.
Oh yeah.
I'm putting France to win the World Cup again, back to back to back. And just briefly
Back
on that, actually, on the World Cup, did you guys see that
back.
Ronaldo,
Oh,
because they won the last World Cup, didn't they? Well, not back to back to
you said
back, but
back
it'll
to
be back to
like
back.
3 World
Oh,
Cups.
jeez, oh, being pedantic. But
Well, that's what you said.
um, Ronaldo said the next World Cup is going to be his last one. Wasn't it 2021? Or was it
It's not 25.
2022.
2022? Yeah,
It's not surprising.
Qatar,
yeah,
isn't it? Qatar.
yeah,
What's
yeah.
he gonna
No,
be
It's just
yeah,
the
there playing?
end of an era, isn't it? That's what
yeah.
it is.
I don't expect I expect Messi to that to be Messi's last one as well. Excuse me.
Hasn't Messi retired like twice already from
Yeah,
international?
he's like
Yeah, yes,
every
yeah.
time like I feel sorry for him because it's like he'll play really well, like in terms of the forward aspect of it, but then the defense and the keeper are just awful. I almost feel like it frustrates him into retiring. Like I can't do this by myself. But yeah, I do feel for him. But yeah, he's back in again. It seems like the
Yeah.
Argentina team is getting better as well, to be fair, because now you've got Martinez, obviously, and then you've also got the Martinez up front as well, who plays for Inter. And you've obviously got your Jabalas, your Agueros, Di Marias.
But you've always had that attacking lineup,
It's
yet
the
they never
defense.
do anything.
It's the defense. Well, to be fair, even the attack, it's not like they score 5, 6, 7 goals either. It's always like
Yeah,
a
they
one
let
nil
him
two
down as
one.
well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But anyway, we're kind of getting sidetracked here. I guess just getting back to transfers, we pretty much covered Liverpool. So
Can I say one more thing?
yeah,
I think Liverpool have had the transfer. What is it? The best transfer window? What do you want to call it? Yeah, I'll say Liverpool have had the best transfer window of all teams,
and
Of
then
all the teams,
or of all the teams. Yes,
bigger than bringing Bale back.
bigger than bringing Bale back.
well, to be
100%.
honest, signing Thomas Partey is bigger than bringing Bale back.
Because we don't know what Bale's going to give. He's
Yeah,
played more golf in the last 2 years than he's played football.
football exactly.
So it's Bale.
It's a
Bale
big name, yes, but we just brought Thiago in.
all he done is get the virus.
Yeah,
Well,
for
Bale
us.
hasn't even kicked the
Well,
ball yet.
Bale hasn't
So
kicked the ball
yeah,
yet.
Bale,
Thiago's
Bale,
played 45 minutes of football.
Bale's been
Well,
injured.
apparently he's back on Saturday, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think he'll start. He'll
Dude,
probably come on.
Thiago is back on Saturday.
I think you're talking Bale. I think Bale will probably come on, but I doubt he'll start.
But no, I'm just basing on Naby talking about all he's done is get COVID. I'm saying Thiago will start on Saturday, whereas Bale's we don't even know yet. We don't even know how fully fit he is and stuff.
So you think Liverpool have a better window than Chelsea?
Yes. Chelsea have had a bigger window in terms of making more signings and doing all that kind of stuff. But in terms of the position we're in and stuff, we've had like near enough the perfect window we could possibly
I
want.
wouldn't say you've had the best window, but I still think I agree with that point, and it's gonna seem like I have an agenda against Chelsea, but I still maintain that like Lampard is not a good enough coach to get the best out of the team. He's brought in great talent. Don't get me wrong, but as we've sort of seen so far, it's not really done much. Again, I could get proved wrong, but they could do
I'd say
well.
your neighbours. The neighbours have had a better window than you.
Who?
To-
Watford.
The neighbours
Who?
of Liverpool.
Oh,
Oh,
Everton.
Everton have had a good window, to be fair.
They've had a very good window. I wouldn't say they've had a better window.
Well, I guess we'll see on the 17th. Um, anyway, moving on from
Are we going? Are we going to
Liv-
get a rating then, just to finish off and Shib?
oh yeah, sorry. So what would you, out of
Give it.
10, what would you rate your window?
Well, after that, I'm gonna have to give it a 10 out of 10, haven't I?
10 out of 10 it is, even though you didn't get a
With
backup centre back, but
or a keeper?
yeah, or a actual goal scoring striker. But anyway, let's move into Arsenal. Uh, just to give a quick overview of the ins and outs. Firstly, with Arsenal in, we had El Nene come back from Besiktas, and William Saliba came back from Saint Etienne, loaned Dani Ceballos back from Real Madrid for another year, got Willian from Chelsea, Gabriel from Lille. I don't actually know how to pronounce his last name. Runner Alex Runnerson from Dijon, Thomas Partey from Atleti, and we also extended Obo's contract, Martinelli's contract, and Saka's contract as well. So that's all the in. So for me, just looking at that in, we did some really good business. Mainly so more so on the um, extension of contract for Oba and Saka and Martinelli as well. And for the out, we got Martinez went to Aston Villa. Matteo Guendouzi went to Hertha Berlin on loan. Konstantinos Mavropanos went to Stuttgart on loan and released Henrik Mkhitaryan from his contract. And Lucas Torreira went out on loan as well to Atleti. Um, also, just as a quick, I think the coming days before the window closes, the domestic window, the championship window, sorry, Arsenal are looking to see if they can get William Saliba out on loan to a championship team. As of which team at the moment, would actually not being confirmed. We don't know. They're still sort of going through their process um, of elimination to see until they see the perfect team for Saliba.
What? But I thought Saliba was going back. He was going back home. That's why he was going to be loaned out because he was
Yeah,
getting a bit homesick.
homesick. I think he had a personal bereavement, so I think the idea was to sort of loan him back to Saint Etienne, so that at least he'll be in and around his family, which will help him sort of go through that personal loss. But I think also one thing, sort of listening to Arteta's interviews, one thing that he kept on reiterating is that he's not doubting Saliba's talent. It's more the fact that he's saying that he's not yet ready. Because last year he only played 15 games, and we loaned him back to Saint Etienne last year so that he could get more game time before he came to Arsenal, so that by the time he came to Arsenal he'll be ready. But due to injury, and then obviously the French league being cancelled because of COVID, he only managed 15 games. So that's not a lot of game time at all. So I think that's why Arteta wants him to get out again and get more game time so that he's, I guess, ready. Because at his age is what, 6'4", 19, and he's still growing into his body. That's quite scary to think that, actually, isn't it? Like at 19, you're 6'4", and you're still growing into your body. Um, so yeah, I think there are sort of quite a bit of
Is
things
he
that.
going to be able to settle somewhere new?
Sorry.
Is he going to be able to just go somewhere else and then settle in there and get
For
the
me,
game
this is
time that he
my
needs?
thing personally. Like, having heard what Arteta said, I personally think he should stay at Arsenal. Um, because basically looking at it the way that you're looking at it, Nabi, is if we send him out, he's now also going to have to start that whole process of like resettling again, getting to know new teammates, etc., etc. Whereas he's already here. Let's just help him, even if it means, I don't know, sending him home for a couple of weeks, so that he's around his family, and then he comes back once he's feeling a lot better. um, then yeah, I would be for that, but I would personally want to see him stay at the club. Plus, we've got a lot of games, Europa League, Champions League, Champions League, Europa League, Carling Cup, FA Cup. So
Can't they? One can dream.
yeah, so we still have loads and loads of games. Even in terms of the group stages, he's got games where he can still play. We've got teams. I can't remember how to pronounce it. It's like Dun something from Ireland. Um,
Dundalk.
Dundalk, that's the one. Yeah. So we've got
Says everything about the Europa League, doesn't it?
yeah, you got teams that um I personally think he can play against and he'll be able to do well. And it's one of those where I kind of feel that he'll be able to sort of try out that four at the back with Saliba and Gabriel, see how they get on. But me personally, yeah, I guess long story short, I do agree with you, Nabi. I would personally would rather he stayed at Arsenal. I get it; he may not get as much game time as we would like, but he's still really young. Yeah, and there's no rush.
How
Keep
old
him.
is he now?
Still 19.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do we need to clarify that it's the Carabao Cup and not the Carling Cup, so we don't get sued?
Oh yeah. Sorry, it is a Carabao Cup. Yeah.
It's all the same thing, though, isn't it? Really. What do you think that means for Mavropanos? Because he's quite young as well. Does that mean
He's
he's not really going to be the future of Arsenal?
Well, I think they've loaned him out to Stuttgart for a reason. They're gonna sort of keep an eye on him, see how he does, and I think if he does, because there is something about him that I personally quite liked. He's a very, very hard defender, um, Mavropanos. But one thing I did see, I think it's probably due to the naivety of his age. To be fair, that he does sort of tend to just dive in at times instead of sort of reading. Okay, let me just keep him at arm's length. If he turns, I'll be able to go back with him. Sometimes he just sort of goes gung ho. You know.
A lot of that time, that is the youth, though, isn't it? That's the
Yeah,
immaturity as a centre
yeah.
back.
So it's one of these things like we are saying earlier. As he grows older, you'd suspect that he will start to sort of those things will start to get out of his game. But for Mavropanos, yeah, that is quite an interesting one because if you think, I think Arsenal in total have got about 8, 9 centre backs. Yeah, actually, let me just go through this. You've got Gabriel now, William Saliba, you've got Mavropanos, you've got Mustafi, David Luiz, Pablo Mari, um,
Holding.
Holding, and what's the other Greek?
Do you still
Um,
have Socrates?
Socrates. Yeah. So that's 8 centre backs currently. I'm not sure if I'm missing anyone else. So yeah, that's currently 8 centre backs, and out of those 8, I would probably say only one is good enough in Gabriel so far. He's the only one that seems good enough. Obviously, not judging on Mavropanos and William Saliba because they are still relatively young and they haven't had enough game time yet in terms of first team football. So yeah,
Did Arsenal sell anyone in that window?
yeah, we sold Emiliano Martinez
Oh
to
yeah,
Aston
yeah,
Villa.
yeah.
But I think what you probably found, I think it was probably an issue at United. Chelsea, I know, had that similar issue as well. Because someone like Danny Drinkwater, I'm like, isn't he like close to or over 100K at Chelsea?
Yeah.
And
Too many players on high wages. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's essentially United. Well, to be fair, I don't want to say United, Arsenal, and Chelsea. I think quite a lot of teams across Europe had this issue in this window. Because even if you look at Real Madrid,
Not
the
Liverpool,
first the,
though, I
f-
don't think.
for the first time in 30 years, Real Madrid haven't signed a player in the summer window. So that just kind of tells you the impact that COVID has had on teams. So yeah, I wasn't surprised to be personally because I saw a lot of Arsenal fans on the internet were kind of harsh on the club saying, "Oh, you should have moved out this year." The way I don't know if people are just using their emotions to judge us and not realize that if you want to sell a player, there has to be someone willing to buy that player. You can't just say, "Oh, like when you're playing Football Manager, you just put a player on
Yeah.
sale."
It's Football Manager or FIFA 21,
Yeah,
don't they? That's what they
exactly. Like
think.
in terms of the real world, before you sell someone, or if you want to sell someone, there has to be someone willing to pay that person's fee, and then obviously the wages, which for Arsenal are a huge issue.
Well,
Um, so
in the early FIFAs, I remember you could just choose the club you wanted
sell
to move
someone
a
to.
player to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the mind that some fans operate under when it comes
We
to
call it the
selling
FIFA
players.
generation, don't we? We call them
Yeah,
the
it's like,
FIFA
oh, why can't
generation.
you just sell? It's like, well, because there needs to be someone willing to buy that player for us to just sell him. Because yeah, even if looking at, for example, like someone like Sead Kolasinac, who's on like 90 to 100K at Arsenal, or 120K, sorry, at Arsenal, and I think not Besiktas, sorry. There was a German team that had agreed a fee with Arsenal. I can't remember, Bayer Leverkusen, but I think the issue ended up being Kolasinac' wages. He wasn't willing to take a pay cut. Um, but
Well, he has two jobs, doesn't he?
yeah, also security guard and
Yeah.
well, I think he's more part time left back at Arsenal, to be fair, and full time also security guard.
What about Özil rejecting Saudi team or whatever he did? I heard about.
To be honest, with the whole Ozil thing, for me, it's frustrating. It, I think he's just being stubborn just to prove a point. But at the same time, the way I'm looking at it, it's like you're missing out on playing football. So for me, the way I'm interpreting the situation is he's fell out of love with football. He doesn't like playing football anymore. Because the example that I used was that Sanchez. Sanchez wasn't happy at United. He wasn't getting game time. Except he asked to move to Inter, where he could get game time, and he has been. But also, we've offered to terminate his contract. Well, rumors are we've offered to pay him off and terminate his contract. He's refused. There's a Saudi team that offered Arsenal, I think it was like 5 million or something like that, and they would increase his wages for 2 years for him to sign. He refused. So then it's like, if you want to play
He enjoys
football,
the lifestyle, doesn't he? Now.
exactly. If you want to play football,
Do
why
you
would
need
you
the
not go?
players' agreement to pay them off?
Uh, I'm not sure how it works, to be honest.
It's
If you're
still a
paying off the rest of their
termination, though, isn't it?
you
Yeah.
can just say we're paying you off, so we're finishing your contract. Sure, you can do that without the players' consent. Because if you're
No,
saying
I'm
he's
not
enjoying
with
the
sure.
that, that's why I
lifestyle,
was
he
saying
can.
it was rumors. Because for me, in terms of any reputable sort of accounts or anyone reporters, I haven't seen any of them saying it. But it was one where you kind of see some people just sort of whether they're just sort of putting two and two together. Obviously, with the whole situation that's going on with Oslo and Arsenal at the moment, essentially declaring war on the club. I kind of feel. Because one of the things that he's done was he, I don't know if you guys saw with the him, Ganosaurus or being made redundant, and then also coming
Sacked.
out and offering to pay Ganosaurus's wages. But
It was a
I,
very good gesture of him, wasn't it?
the issue for me, yes and no. I'm split with that. The reason being is also in this particular situation, I'm just gonna be honest with how I feel. I didn't feel he cared uh, about the fact that Gunnosaurus has been made redundant because uh, if he did, if it was charity, it wouldn't have just been one guy out of the 55 people that got made redundant. He specifically went for the one person that he knew Arsenal fans and the whole football world would react to. That was his plan. Like, okay, cool. I'm gonna target this particular individual because I know everyone would then be like, "Oh, Ozil's a hero. Ozil's this. Oh,
Being
why are Arsenal doing this to essentially everyone will see Arsenal in a
it worked though,
horrible.
didn't it? It worked.
Yeah, but then it backfired though, because an Arsenal spokesman came out and said, "Well, no, Gunnosaurus is not being made redundant. At the moment. There's no games. There's no need for him to do any. Well, not that there's no need. He can't go because it's one of those he'd have community services where he'd go to hospitals for kids, etc., etc., those kind of things. But obviously, if you can't have your family around when you're giving birth, are they gonna let you have a massive dinosaur in there, with for your kids? It doesn't make sense for me. The decision makes sense. There's no need for him now, so we're gonna make the position redundant, and then when the fans are allowed back in the stadium again, we can bring the position back. So
But
yeah,
then what I would say is Urza has been like right on some stuff in terms of with the whole like wage cut. He when he came out, he didn't say he wouldn't be willing to take a wage cut. He just didn't agree, and then Arsenal. He said Arsenal didn't answer his questions about where the actual money was going, and he didn't trust the owners or the
in that
board in that
aspect,
part.
I completely agree with you. But for me, that's a completely separate situation to this. This whole Gunnosaurus thing, it's
I
got
know, but I'm
nothing.
saying it's all part of the whole Özil picture, isn't it?
Yeah,
In
but
terms of he was right on that side of it, because they ended up making the redundancies, with even though they said the
and
cuts would stop any
and you
redundancies.
know what the thing is? The redundancy, the person who wears the suit, that redundancy was made. He was part of that 55 that was let go. But obviously, the newspaper that found out decided to release it on deadline day before we'd made any real signings in terms, aka Thomas Partey. So the person knew, he or she, that Arsenal fans were going to gobble up this news and they were going to react, which they did. Which they did, to be fair, and not even just Arsenal fans, the whole football world kind of
Oh,
reacted.
it's just how the football world works, isn't it? You
Yeah, but in terms of
you do that.
going back to signings, sorry, for Arsenal, for me, obviously, the one I really am happy about, to be fair, it's two. Extending Aubameyang's contract, no, three. Extending Aubameyang's contract, Saka's contract, and the big man in the middle, or four actually, the big man in the middle, Thomas Partey, and then getting in Gabriel as
Was
well.
your best signing? What do you think was your best signing?
In terms of individual, that's difficult because
I guess it's between Partey and Ober's extension.
and even Gabriel as well, because we needed a centre back, and he's been performing. But I suppose in terms of proven talent, Gabriel's still quite young, so yeah, it would be between Partey and Oba. Um, I
If you
think
had
for
to
me,
pick, who would it
if I
be?
had to pick, I'm gonna have to go Partey, to be fair, because it's one of those
Really?
like Partey takes us into the top four. I'm not even kidding you when I
Yeah.
say that. For me, Partey takes us into the top four. So yeah, because I think I said, one thing he will allow us to do, he will give Arteta freedom. Because there was from an interview where Arteta essentially alluded to the fact that Partey gives us options. He will give us option change formations to be able to play different ones. Because at the moment, we're all playing that 3-4-3. Um, but I think we'll probably go more towards a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. And because those are the ones, sorry, that Arteta. Well, I think 4-2-3-1 was the one that Arteta sort of came in when he first came in and took the job. That was the formation that he was playing. And even at our last game against Sheffield United, for a spell, we did convert back when we got the two goals. Convert back to the 4-2-3-1. When we had Oba down the middle, Saka, Pepe out wide, Willian in the middle, and Saka and Willian were kind of interchanging between the two of them, and Dani Ceballos and El Neni sat there. So imagine having Thomas Partey um, along one of those two. Personally, I want to see Partey and Dani Ceballos play together because they have a lot of similar qualities. They're both press resistant, and they both have an eye for a pass. Dani Ceballos is a bit of a deep playmaker. Sorry. Whereas Partey, he can do that, or he can ping a pass, crossfield pass. Or one thing that when I was sort of watching the videos that impressed me with Thomas Partey is how quick he sort of shut down someone's space. The moment he wins the ball back, it's like a light just switches. His first thought is just attack, and he just starts breaking the lines with this big long strides as he goes through. But for me,
I've got a quick question actually on
yeah,
that. I know Ozil would never be back into the Arsenal team ever. We know that it's just not going to happen. He's not even going to be in the squad for the Premier League or Europa League, whatever. But don't you think Thomas Partey is the perfect player to come in to allow Ozil to do what he does best?
that is true.
Like if you
But
think about it, he
but
actually is the signing Ozil needed 3 years ago.
I do hear what you're saying, but I guess the one thing I would say is that Thomas Partey is just not an out and out defensive midfielder. Like I guess that's what he gets deployed um at Letty, but I don't see Arteta doing that with him. I think Arteta will probably want him to be sort of going up and down, more the box to box type of player. So you
Yeah,
would
I think
then,
he is box to box.
yeah. So
But
you
I
would,
feel like he would have given Ozil the free role. Like if it was like 3 years ago and Ozil was still part of the club in terms of actually playing games, I think he would have been the perfect player to allow Ozil to have a free role.
I agree.
Actually,
I agree. I agree
it's
with you
just a
there.
shame for Ozil in that part. I guess.
Yeah, I do agree with you. He does sort of, or give that sort of defensive solidity, and he can get across the pitch one side to the other quite nicely. And we'll also fix our right hand because if you notice Arsenal when we're playing, we have a huge left hand bias. Our left hand opponent's right hand, where Aubameyang is, where most of our balls across are always up and over to Aubameyang or through to Aubameyang. We don't really get a variety of Aubameyang Pepe, Aubameyang Willian. It's sort of always across to Oba. Whereas with this again, It gives us the variety to then start hitting Pepe a lot more, and that will allow Bellerin to obviously go up a lot more as well, supporting Pepe, and then having Thomas Partey being the cover, because with how athletic he is, like you said, you can get up and down quite quickly and pretty seamlessly as well. To be fair, so yeah, for me, the ideal partner that I would love to see Partey with is Dani Ceballos. For the first time ever, like, actively, no, apart from the World Cup, actively went and looked for where to watch Gan friendly. They were playing Ali, and they got thumped 3-0. And I was watching Partey as well, obviously, and he got the second highest rating in the Ghana team, the match. Um, so, so,
This is a team without Adama Traore, because obviously he then went to Spain.
but
But even though
what
Mane
this
pulled him up.
confused me. There was another player called Adama Traore that came on as well for Mali as
Oh,
well.
is it?
Yeah, yeah. There was, I think there must have been about three Traores that were playing at any time for Mali. But yeah, obviously Adama Traore for Wolves is probably the big stand. But to be fair, Mali played a lot better than I expected them to. Their football was really, really good. Um, but yeah, in terms
It's
of,
not a good start for Arsenal's Thomas Partey, is it?
well, not
The
really, to be
Atletico
fair.
Madrid party would have not done that.
No, I don't think the club party does that at all. To be fair, because you know you.
So, sorry, just finish that.
No, no, yeah, I was gonna say you players do play differently for club and country, because obviously for club, country, you've got Giroud is the second top goal scorer for France, and for country, for club, sorry, he's not breaking any records for any clubs for goal scoring.
He could, to be
Yeah,
honest. I think 9 away.
yeah, he is 9. I hope he retires before then.
Mm.
The only player I do see completely thrashing that record is Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah, true.
He's going to thrash that. I think he'll get into the hundreds potentially.
I was just going to say, when things, if things, I guess, go back to some sort of normality, when the African Cup of Nations comes around, you're going to lose them then,
Yeah,
period of time.
yeah. This is one thing that crossed my mind as well, that we're now gonna have. But the thing is, I think they've realigned the Afcon to now happen in the summer when the
Didn't they
players
try
are.
that before though?
I
I'm sure
don't.
I'm sure they have tried it and then they moved it back.
Also, it's back in January now.
Well, I'm not sure when they keep changing what it is, but I think they have tried that, moving to the summer like other tournaments, but then for some reason they moved it back. So I think it is one of those.
They
They're going
should
to
keep it
change
in the
when it
summer,
happens.
shouldn't
I think the
Yeah.
thing is, this is me just speculating. Obviously, African heat in the summer can be pretty unbearable. So then asking football players to be run on for 90 minutes in that kind of heat, I don't know. But yeah, I'm yeah.
It's not an immediate concern at the moment.
Not at the moment, yeah. But honestly, I'm just happy to have him. And remember, no Pate. Oh, I completely messed that up. I'm going to say
Well,
no
there you go.
Thomas,
You cocked
no
it.
Pate. You know,
But you
uh,
messed it up,
I
so let's
completely
move on.
messed it up. Yeah. Honestly, I saw this interview with his dad when he was talking about some of the songs that Arsenal fans were singing, and he was like, "Oh, I saw they were singing this one." It was like "Party after party, after party after party," which is a pretty good song. Yeah, actually, check it out. Can't remember the artist. But moving on, heading well north.
Oh, do you want a rating, actually? Do you want to give you a rating?
Oh, in terms of the window, I would
Yeah.
say 8 for Arsenal. The reason being, I would say the way we're looking at it, we've strengthened our spine. Leno's there. We've got Gabriel, we've got Thomas Partey, and we also extended Aubameyang's contract. So I guess
That's
you've
not
got.
part of the window though.
Pardon?
The contract extension isn't really part of the window.
Well, we extended it in the window, so.
It's not part of the window.
No, okay, fine, but still, we strengthened. The point still remains. We strengthened our.
Curiosity, what would the rating be if you hadn't got Partey?
For me, it probably would have been around 6, 5. No, 6. Yeah, 6, 6.5. Just because I personally was still happy the fact that we got Gabriel. And then obviously, I know you're not saying it's part of the window, but it happened in the summer, so I'm including them anyway. Aubameyang, Saka, and Martinelli. So yeah, for me, yeah, I was still okay. Let me not. I was happy. I was content, not happy. I was content because I'm not gonna lie. When the rumors started breaking out that Hussein Mawar has decided, he's gonna stay on, my heart sank. even though you guys know I wanted Partey, but it's like, okay, at least we're getting a new attacking player in. My heart sank, and then that's where you start saying, yeah, Arsenal are probably not going to reach or meet Partey's clause again. I start thinking, what is going on with this club? Um, but yeah, we did it in the end. Right at the window, right at the deadline, the fee was paid, and he became an Arsenal player. So yeah, for me, I would give the window an 8 overall. And also just to sort of give my quick thoughts on why the deal happened so late. I have two factors before we move into United that I kind of think Arsenal are looking at. One, the first one being I think the club need to show their hand too quickly because obviously they were still trying to get Hussein Mawar up into the last window, and they did show Leon that they could pay that £45 million upright if as it was required. So I think Arsenal were trying to play the long game, seeing if they would get the Hussein Mawar deal done first. If they could have then gone for Thomas Partey, but obviously that ended up being a no-go. And then the second one was also that they were trying to get as many players out as possible to help fund that. But the rumors or the news that's coming out is that you're seeing some people saying that it was KC or Stan Kroenke that paid some of his money to help to push through the Thomas Partey deal, and you're seeing some that it was refinancing of the club's debt that helped do that. But again, that would be a direct the green light still has to be given by Stan Kroenke, which I guess for me, yeah, it's a
I
positive.
thought, I thought owners couldn't just put in their money now.
Yeah, that's what I'm
If
saying.
it
Report in terms of reports that I've seen, some are saying that, but some are saying that it was refinancing of
Yeah, he's
club's debt.
written off some of the O's and what Arsenal owe to him, the owners and stuff. Like
Yeah,
they've clearly made the commitment now
yeah,
to start
I think it is
doing something with Arsenal.
backing Ateta. I think that's what it essentially is, to be fair. I guess now it's a perfect segue, talking about one club backing their manager and one club not backing their manager. Nabi, just to quickly run through in terms of the player ins, obviously not talking about the 200 youngsters that you brought in. We're just gonna focus on the main players that will go into the first team. We've got Donny van de Beek from Ajax. We've got Alex Telles from FC Porto, and then you've got Edinson Cavani, who was the agent but previously was at PSG. And in terms of the players out, you've got Smalling went to Roma, Sanchez went to Inter, Andreas Pereira went to Diogo Dalot went to AC Milan. And then quickly, Nabil, just to get your point, I was thinking earlier when I was putting this list together, Mkhitaryan and Sanchez have to go down as the worst deal ever conducted in Premier League history, surely.
the worst swap deal, definitely.
Yeah. Oh my god. Both of them ended up on high wages. Both of them ended up on loan, and both of them ended up just getting released from their contracts.
I know.
But anyway, sorry. I'll let you.
But at least you got some good stuff out of Sanchez. We didn't get much out of both of them.
Oh, that's true. That's true. You took yeah, that's true. Sanchez when he was in his prime. Obviously you did have that quote when he said on his first after his first training session, he was asking if he could tear up his contract and return back to Arsenal. I wonder what he saw and at the United Training Center for him to say that.
Jones,
Sorry,
probably Phil Jones or Jesse Lingard or someone like that.
I saw Jesse Lingard moonwalking. Yeah, and then said, "Nah, this is not for
Yeah,
me." But anyway, Nabi.
Yeah, so not a great
In
week
terms
for
of incoming,
United.
I take. Are you happy with them, or would you like more, without being greedy?
Well, I think I'm happy. The players that came in, I do like the players that they have got in, but obviously the players that they wanted to get in were different and had different positions. So in that sense, I think it's been a poor window. But I'm not saying I don't like the players that have come in because they did need a left back, as I've been saying for a while. A new striker would help them definitely. With Gallo is loan ending in January, and now Martial being suspended. Obviously, they didn't know then. They did know then. They didn't know. No,
Yeah,
they
but
didn't
by
know
the
then.
time the window closed, I think they knew because the game had already been
Yeah,
played.
but obviously the deal might have also been going on in the background anyway. But yeah, they needed an extra option, and I think they needed an extra fielder to kind of help Bruno with the workload because at the end of last season he was getting a bit tired. So I think they have made good signings, but of their apparent wish list or Solskjaer's wish list, they're kind of really down third, fourth choice. It seems. But I mean, I think Telles is probably the one I'm most happy with because we needed a left back. Cavani is obviously the nice big name signing, but the
Signing,
left
yeah.
back is what we needed, I think.
Would
Obviously, a new
you
centre back would have been
would
nice.
you not have? Yeah, I was just about to ask. Like, would you not have wanted, and potentially CDM? Because obviously I get Matic is still decent, but in terms of the legs to get up and down, he doesn't have the legs. I don't think.
Yeah, the legs are going. I mean, I think they would do. They will need a new CDM in the next year. I think they probably had other. They want to get other things done in this window. We thought we're going to get a bit more out of Matic. It's not as important, but we want to get other things done. With the centre back, I think just with Arsenal, it's a bit clogged up in there now.
Yeah.
We did sell Solin very late. Still got Love Maguire, Tuanzebe, Jones, Rojo, and Mendy. Bailly as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So you're a big fan about Baez coming. When
But he does do well. He just has moments.
rash moments. Yeah, that's the thing I've noticed. He is a good player, but he has a moment where I don't know, it's almost like a rush of blood to the head, and then he just makes the completely wrong decision, and you're like, "Ah, you're doing so well up until that point."
And he keeps getting injured as well. Apparently, he got an injury over the international break as well. So that's
Who
another
does he
reason.
play for?
Ivory Coast, I think.
Oh right, okay, fair.
Well, he came out and said, no, it's not an injury, it's just fatigue or something. But I guess we'll see. But that's his issue. The fact he keeps getting injured, so you can't trust him to stay in the first team.
Mhm.
But anyway, going back to the signing, Cavani, obviously, people going about his age and how he hasn't played much. But if he's determined enough, he can turn that around. He's got the
For me,
quality.
sorry to cut you off. For me, nowadays, most of the last 2 3 years, maybe going back 5 years, I don't think age is as much an argument as it was before. Because if you look at age, last season, like I know different type of players, but Jamie Vardy got the Golden Boot at what 33, the oldest player ever to receive the Golden Boot, and runner up to the Golden Boot was a 31-year-old Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So for me, in terms of age, yeah, and you've got also Robert Lewandowski was 32, 33, tearing it up in the Bundesliga. Age is like you're saying, if you're determined enough, and these footballers nowadays they keep themselves at the highest level in terms of their health. So yeah, for me, age is not the factor. I think if he like say if he wants to perform, he will perform for United.
Yeah, I guess if you're another big deal they did do, if you're counting it, is that they did sign on Henderson on a new contract, even
Oh
though
yeah, it
he's
was a
not
6 years,
playing when he
wasn't it?
should be. Yeah, so he's now tied
But he's not
down. And
playing, so how big
yes,
deal is it really?
well, it's a big deal they now have him on a contract. He will be the number one
When
eventually. He should be it now, but I don't know when he's going to make the decision to drop De Gea.
Yeah,
Or what
At
form
some
he
point, he has
wants
to
to.
be the goal. Like, if he's going to be the number one in the next year or so, he has to look for another team, doesn't he?
yeah,
He has to.
yeah, because that's the thing. I generally feel like if all it continues with the hair, that's going to be the sword that kills him.
Yeah, and I would blame him to leave if Ole kept picking De Gea,
Yeah.
especially if he makes another mistake or two.
Liverpool,
Even
you
though he's
could
made
go into
enough.
that, but then United would charge an absolute premium, won't they?
Well, if we the thing is, no point of us going for Henderson because we need a backup, and there's no point of going from one
Oh,
backup to another
sorry,
backup.
sorry. Yeah, that's true. Nappy.
Let's go. Nothing much else to say on the signing. We kind of just wait to see how Cavani gets on.
So
Tell us some.
in terms of the players that are brought in, factoring in your your current form and your next game, I think you said it was Newcastle, wasn't it? How
Yeah,
would you line up? Would you line up with the same system, or would you?
no. I think they're gonna. I think they have to change the system considering the games that are coming up after that. PSG, Chelsea, Arsenal.
Yeah.
What's another team as well? Big team as well.
So how
So I
would
think
you have your starting 11 against Newcastle?
so. This is how I would have it, or how I think
How you would
OGS
have
would
it
have.
based on obviously I take it as a fan you are frustrated the fact that you've been playing the same formation and just hoping something will change but it's not. And so on the fact that you're saying that he has to now, how would you then line up? Obviously
Well,
factoring in the new
obviously,
signings as well.
yeah, obviously then Henderson in goals,
Hmm.
and then I guess it'd have to go to five at the back just to get a bit of stability.
Who would be your
Hopefully, and it'd
three
be.
centre backs?
See, there's two ways I think they could go. I don't know if I talked about this in the last. I probably did. You know, get a Wan-Bissaka right wing back, Tellers left wing back, and then by Maguire Lindelof. I'm not sure how far away Tuanzebe is to coming back, but he'll slot in there.
But how would
But you
you
could
do
also,
it?
I would have, I would have Brandon Williams right wing back, Tellus left wing back, Maguire, Aye, and then Wan-Bissaka. as like a right-sided centre back, kind of like what Walker was in the England game against Belgium.
Okay, yeah.
Because obviously Wan-Bissaka is much better defending than attacking, and Brandon
Yeah.
Williams is all right going forward.
And I take
And
it
he'll be better.
Bayu will be central.
Yeah, by central, Maguire left, Wan-Bissaka right, and Williams right side, Tellers left side. And in the midfield, I have obviously Matic, and then I guess Fernandez would be one on right, and then it'd be between Pogba and Van de Beek. Van de Beek probably deserves to come in, and Pogba probably take him out because he's not been playing that well. But then again, it is Pogba. I think left of the three is probably where
You
he was
haven't you haven't said
best
who you
supplied.
would go for. You just said Pog or but Van de Beek decided
I'm going to make a decision. I'm just
Alright, okay.
talking through my process.
Okay.
That Pogba is question. I would make a decision at the beginning.
Okay.
Just send a message. Van de Beek, Matic, Fernandez, and up front it'd be Rashford and Greenwood. Because they're definitely against Newcastle. I don't think one is going to be eligible because of his quarantine.
Would if you had injuries, would it still be Rashford and Greenwood? Or eligibility issues with Cavani? Like, what would be your main two if everyone's fit up front?
Well, I think Martial and Rashford probably.
Oh, big call.
Okay.
Big call.
I think they'd have to do to get some stability back. Obviously, if things were going well, or if things started to go well, they can maybe try and switch that back to the back four. Wan-Bissaka,
We'll take Williams off.
Tuanzebe.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
I thought you were meaning during the game. Apologies.
in time, it'll be like Wan-Bissaka, Tuanzebe, Maguire, Telles, and then Matic, Pogba, Fernandez, and I think it'd have to be the same front three: Rashford, Greenwood, Martial.
No, Sancho, no? Oh, you
No.
didn't get him. Oh, sorry.
All that noise all summer just end up with I don't know, some 19-year-old from Atalanta, 17-year-old.
Well, we'll see how he goes. He's a right-sided, he's a right winner, which is what he needed.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
yeah,
He's coming in January, isn't he? I forgot his name, but
Malang
Well,
Sarr, isn't it, or something?
he changed his name, didn't
what?
he? I
That's
don't know if he
a
changed
Was
his
it-
centre
name.
was
back.
it
That's a
Adam-
centre back that Chelsea got.
Is that who Chelsea got?
That's
Oh.
the centre
Was it
back. Malang Sarr.
Adam something? Or
It was
That's wrong.
Ahmad Traore, but then Naby said that
Ahmad Traore?
he
Yeah,
changed
that's
his
the one.
name. from-
Diallo or something now.
Yeah.
Diallo,
Amad
Ahmad
Diallo.
Diallo. Yeah.
That is the person that they were referring to as Ahmad Traore, which confused me. But where did a different person come from?
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, to be fair, sort of everything that I've sort of read up on him, his stats, I've not got my hand on it. But there's I think page on Twitter at Statman Dave is really good actually because he does stats for pretty essentially all the teams when games are being played, etc. And he put up stats on amateur, they're quite impressive. But I think they're more from his time in the junior squads because obviously I think he's only had like half an hour in terms of first team game time.
24
Okay.
in Serie A.
24 minutes. Oh, sorry, I was giving him a bit of credit. 24 minutes in Serie A that he played.
I'll just throw names out there. Hoping I get it right.
Malasa, Melasa, is it Adam? And yeah, but to be fair, I agree with you. Ole needing to change his formation, obviously, to try and breathe, I guess, a breath of fresh air into the team, something new into the team. But I do hope you're wrong, though. I do hope he does stick to the current formation. And I do hope he does continue going the way that he's going because, as we said in the last pod, we do want Ole to stay. So
One more thing on United's transfer. Sorry. Don't you think the board have come out, or like the hierarchy have come out really badly out of this? Because they've ended up.
Bad.
That's a good one. I wanted to ask you that actually. Sorry.
They're kind of badly every window, really. There's not really a window that everyone's praising them. I think it's been a problem for a while. There's not, and that's the hard.
There's a lot of
thing,
anger at Edward Wood, isn't there? A lot of frustration.
and Glazers,
And the Glazers, yeah.
because the only person that can get rid of Woodward are the Glazers.
But there,
Do you think it's purely about
do you know what I'm seeing? Some parallels with United and Arsenal. Because obviously with you guys as as your chairman, with Arsenal your manager and Wenger, the fans wanted him out for so long, but the board were just like, nah, we like him. Nah, we're making top four. It's similar. It's like saying with Ed Woodward, commercial side of Manchester United, they're still right up there in terms of the top earners for marketing and commercial deals. But when you look at on the pitch, that's when it's like, why has there no change been made? Almost, I guess when you're looking at it properly, a club like United shouldn't be allowed to get to that back
Yeah, especially since the best way of marketing is doing it on the pitch.
on the pitch. Yeah, exactly.
I think Liverpool have shown that, if anything.
But
The way
it's,
we've done
it's common
commercial
sense.
side.
It's common sense to be to be honest. You can't say
No,
you're
as in terms of proof showing it, the escalation of our valuation
no,
commercially, it's
but
gone up
fair.
hugely
But I
with
still
what we've
think
done
it's a
on the
very
pitch.
obvious thing. Like if you do well on the pitch, you'll be able to negotiate for better commercial deals. Like it's
I think United are so like they have such a good foundation commercially,
yeah,
being one
that's
of
the
the
thing.
biggest or the biggest. They just don't feel like they're affected too much by it.
In terms of on
I
the pitch,
think.
no, they're not. But I think it will be there will be a point where it will start to dip. I think there will be a point where the bottom line will start getting affected to the point where they're like, actually, because obviously I do get it, but like what you're saying to an extent, Shabs, your Nike, your Adidas, etc., etc. They look, you guys are not getting to the Champions League finals anymore. You're not getting to the last day deadline or last day of the Premier League fighting for this anymore. You're not doing that anymore. So you're not bringing us that much value. We'll I don't know reduce your contract by X amount. So I do think there will be a point, but I guess it's just whether they just allow it, sorry, to get to that point, or whether they'll stop it before.
I think it'll be another change before there's an Ed Woodward change.
You think?
Yeah, the only way for Ed Woodward's position would be for new owners to come in.
Do you think
But
that will
then
happen
why
soon?
would Glazers sell? Why would they sell?
I don't know, maybe just get fed up of all the
They make a lot of money.
abuse.
They take hundreds of millions out of United to use like in other parts of their business and everything.
Yeah, but
United is perfect for them. They make so much money.
Yeah, again, parallel to KC and the Arsenal when he was
There's
taking
literally
so
no
much.
reason for them to sell.
Yeah,
There's no reason for
there
them to
really
sell.
isn't. It's in London, and fans will continuously come and buy season tickets because, like all the big six clubs, isn't it? It's like a 10+ year waiting list for season tickets.
We even got rid of our rating list.
Yeah,
That's how
'cause,
bad it got.
like it's one of those where they know regardless what happens, fans are still going to want to come. Fans are still going to be flocking to the stadium. They're still going to be flocking to the armory, flocking to the online shops, buying everything. Buying all the merchandise, and worldwide as well. So
But you can't put like the transfer dealings down to the owners. Like everything happening on the last day. You got someone like Cavani coming in, who's been a free agent for 8 months, coming in on the last day of a transfer window.
What I was just going to say is you don't need to even get rid of it. You just need to bring in, and you just bring in a new person. He hasn't been talking about for ages getting in a director of football, but he's never done.
if you get a director of football, that will help Ed Woodward a lot. Especially in terms of the footballing aspects of it, because for us, it's in terms of Arsenal, it's been sorry. I keep on referencing Arsenal because I see a lot of similarities in what you're going through. It's almost like we're just coming out of that stage now, but you guys are getting into it. You're right in the middle of
I'm
it.
loving this.
Yeah,
honestly,
or
I'm loving
you've
this.
been out of it for about 5 years now. I mean,
Yeah, we were going through that a while back.
Yeah, so we're literally in terms of we're just coming out of it now. Obviously, just got Edu I think he's the first technical director of Arsenal. Before obviously you had Vinay and we were doing a split role. The chairman, one was more the commercial side, one was more the footballing. But that's been now streamlined. You've got our CEOs, and then you've also now got the director of football in Edu, who has a direct link to the manager in Arteta. So I think if United did get that sort of structure, it does help Ed Woodward in the sense that he can now then just sort of solely focus on the commercial side of things. You've got, like for Arsenal, we've got Edu and Arteta that drive the on-field performance. They will say, okay, cool, this is what we need. Like Edu was telling, he had an interview recently and sort of just briefly chatted through the process of how he went about saying, essentially, they went to the owners and they were given the green light for Partey and they went and got it done. So it would one of those like where if you've got someone who deals directly with it rather than a non-football man dealing with football things, that's where you tend to have all this confusion that seems to be sort of happening around United in terms of transfers. I'm not sure what you think on that.
Well, I think the Sancho thing was just handled terribly.
Yeah.
I think if you look at the others, like left back, obviously they didn't get the Reguilon, but you can see why you didn't get him because of the whole buyback cost thing. But you add that in also not against Sancho, then it just makes it worse.
Worse, yeah.
It's the Sancho thing that was just handled terribly.
And the fact like your interest in them was known even before the window opened. Everyone knew. It was almost like kind of resigned. People had kind of resigned the idea, oh, Sancho go to United. And then now the window's closed and he's still at Dortmund. It's kind of like, yeah, I see what you're saying.
I think probably even Dortmund expected him to go as well.
To go, yeah.
It's like when Barca or Madrid come in for a player, you just know they're going to go.
Yeah.
No matter the window, the player's gone. But it looks like from what I've heard, like the rumors I've heard, Sancho would have happily gone to United, but he wasn't like beating down the door to force
to try
the
and
move
leave,
to
yeah,
United.
exactly.
And now it looks like Bayern and Liverpool next time have a better chance than what United did.
Yeah.
I think this was the one window United had to get him.
They try and go back in January, but I'm not sure if Dortmund will want to sell midway through the season.
Yeah, I can't imagine any team allowing that.
Especially,
Well, obviously, at the moment, yeah, it seems United will be quite down. But obviously, we need to see how the season ends.
yeah.
But at the moment, yeah, they're down the list.
Season ends without Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think.
We'll see.
And probably Mateo somewhere.
Well, Nabi saying give him until December. That's what he was saying last pod, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, true.
But anyway,
We'll see,
as we're now essentially at the end of the pod, we're not going to do fantasy football one on this episode because it's internationals. I think we'll do on our next episode. That's when we'll do the fantasy football roundup, where we'll kind of discuss, and I'll let you know if I've decided to now to use my my wild card. Well, to be fair, actually, I can now because what I was waiting for has happened. I was waiting for the window to close. Anyway, this is me not being a fantasy football update.
You making your team around Partey.
Yeah.
We'll see in the next episode. I'll let you know in the next episode. So as I said, guys, please see our details in the descriptions. We've got all the links in there. My Twitter at TalkFootballT, Shihab's Twitter at TalkFootballSH1, Nabi's Twitter at TalkFootball, and then the main page at TalkFootball. That's at TalkFooty, sorry. That's TalkFooty with an extra Y at the end. So please, make sure to follow, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also interact. Won't bite, honestly. You can say hello, we'll reply. If you've got any questions as well, what you're doing is just dropping on our main page. We'll put out a feeler to see if you guys have got any questions, and then any questions that you do have will get answered on the pod. So you'll be up on the pod with us in a way. Yeah, but your questions will be answered anyway from all the guys. But yeah, until the next episode, I've been your host with the most, Sinashi. Thank you very much for tuning in. Tonana. Stopping recording. We're done.
What's Tonan?
Tonana. See you later.
That's what that's.
See you later, Shona. Tonana. Why has it started doing this? I don't like this.
What?
Like, it started telling me whenever she had posted something. I don't know why.
You think that?
Oh, Ben Foster's winning on your list, Shabs, by the looks of it.
Yeah. Ben Foster's.
But yeah, that's the pod. If you could please drop your
Right, I'll see you guys in
in the gulag. Can you please drop your suggestions for the title?
Oh, you made the title, right? You know you did.
What do you mean?
You put the title in there. You know, you put the title in there, didn't you?
Yeah.
Think about it. What did you say about Partey?
Oh, no Thomas, no Partey. Hey.
No.
What?
Partey gets Arsenal to the top 4. As soon as you said that, I thought he's done that for the title.
Oh no, I didn't actually do that for thanks, but thank you.
Yeah.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Once you said it, I knew.
Take Arsenal to top 4 and
fun of that.
description.
We look back at the transfer windows for our clubs, Manchester United, Liverpool, and Arsenal, and give our thoughts on the overall. Quite simple description, I guess, this time.
Yeah.
Are you guys gaming? It'll be. It's already late.
I will be.
Soon issues in like half an hour.
It'll because I think I'll go downstairs. If the moment I say, "Oh, can I play PlayStation?" They'll be like, "Oh, let's just pray so that we don't have to disturb you later."
27-year-old asking me he can play PlayStation.
Well, because my PlayStation is in the living room. Last time I said, "Oh,"
And whose fault is that?
last time I said this, you guys were like, "Oh, so you just took the PlayStation, you just took the TV from your mom, you didn't even let her finish watching it." So it's like it's a lose-lose whichever way I do this.
Well, it's not lose-lose if you get yourself a monitor like you said 2 months ago.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's the smartest idea. I'll be up until 4 a.m. every morning just in my
No, but
room.
wait, you'll adjust to it.
Yeah.
I've got a TV in my room that I can watch Netflix and everything on. There was points where I used to be like that, but you adjust to just go to bed when you need to go to bed.
Discipline yourself.
Yeah. Is that what you're worried about? Is that why you haven't got one yet?
Yeah.
No, you just been yourself. Don't worry, it happens. Because it's not like we're all stuck on there.
Yeah, we're not playing all night.
Fair point.
It's up to you, obviously.
Yeah. There was a point where
At some point you will learn to
I
discipline
was
yourself.
to it and I took myself out of it.
At some point you will have to learn to discipline yourself.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, let me go down and pray so that I can jump on ASAP.
All right. I'll see you guys soon.
See you guys soon.
Bye.
All right.
Oh, thank goodness. I wasn't talking to you, Google.